Hi friends, Heather here from Yoga Mamas. Thanks for joining me today. I'm super excited that you took this time to boost your immune system in this fabulous YIN sequence that we have for you today. So go ahead and find a tall but relaxed spine in any seated pose that is most comfortable for you. Maybe sitting on a blanket, maybe a pillow, maybe bring one leg out to the side, just whatever that is for you today in this moment. And then rolling the shoulders back a few times here. And just really start to get into the body, feel into the body here in this moment. Make any movements that feel good with the spine, maybe some spine flexing. Maybe getting into the hips a little bit here. And then come back to your relaxed seated pose when you're ready. Turning the palms facing up and close the eyes. Take some breaths where you exhale through the mouth. Allow yourself to be in this moment. Be present here for yourself. And let's start this practice with the feeling of gratitude. Gratitude for whatever you're grateful for today, or just the general feeling of being grateful. Take some time, breathe in that. And then let's take the hands together in front of the heart. Rub the hands together. And cover the eyes. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, start your circles in the forehead. Always breathing a relaxed breath. Go above and along the eyebrows. Circles in the temples. And going underneath the eyes and along the nose. Always breathing. Circles in the cheeks and the jaw. And pressing behind the ears to the chin. And one more time. Let's release the hands, take the hands into circles for the wrists, going both directions. Maybe move the fingers a little bit. And then take the fingers or the knuckles and press into the arch of the foot. Just kind of allow your foot to be free, maybe move your toes. Always breathing. Remember, the breath is the most important part of any yoga practice. If you're hearing little cracks, that's my toes. It makes them so happy. And let's go to the other side. Always breathing. All right. So, coming into our first YIN posture, we're going to come to the wall for legs up the wall pose. Legs up the wall pose is very calming for all of your systems, and it's great for boosting your immune system. So you can take your mat up to the wall, or you can just be with maybe a blanket or a pillow underneath your head. Props that we have today, you don't have to use any at all for this simple practice, but you can maybe bring a block and a bolster if you have a yoga bolster. Maybe bring in a pillow for underneath your head for when we're on our back for the poses where we're lying down. So for legs up the wall pose, you're going to scoot your seat. I'm going to move my mat here, or my blanket. You're going to scoot your seat up to the wall as close as you can. We've talked about this before. Sometimes this is not the most graceful thing to get into, but it feels really good once you're there. For me, I'm going to use another blanket underneath my head. I'm going to roll a little spot for the neck here, because I'm all about comfort and feeling your best when you're in the poses, right? So we are going to scoot ourselves up to the wall and bring your legs up the wall, however works for you, okay? And again, you can prop underneath your head. You can do whatever makes you feel best and most comfortable here. And then allow your legs to be at the wall. If they need to bend, you can bend them if you are a little bit bent, or straight up, whatever feels best. Okay, and then wiggle your shoulders underneath your spine, underneath your back, and allow for more space in the chest here. Let your arms just be, they can be next to your side, or maybe a hand at the heart and a hand at the belly, or arms over the head. Just close your eyes and feel into the pose and where your body feels best here. Remember, once you get into your yin pose, you want to stay as still as possible. Okay. Once you find your pose, we'll go back to focusing on the breath. Feel the belly rise on the inhale and fall on the exhale. Allow your eyes and your forehead, the ears, the cheeks, and the jaw to all soften. Breathing in and breathing out. Now, when we are in our yin poses, we're not focusing on the muscles. That's the yang style of yoga. This is yin. So we're focusing on the connective tissue, the fascia, the tendons, and the ligaments, and allowing the muscles to relax as much as possible is going to allow this work to get into those spaces, the connective tissue, right? So let the muscles be as relaxed as possible. We're not flexing, you're just allowing, breathing in and breathing out. Allow your shoulders and your spine to just be. Let them rest into the ground as much as possible without forcing. Just allow, and maybe even feel that on the exhales, they are relaxing deeper without forcing, just allowing. We're going to take 2 more breaths here. And then from here, start to bring your knees in towards your chest. And maybe take your hands or your arms to your knees or shins and just hold still here. Always staying with that same relaxed breath. Maybe take a happy baby pose, just to get into the hips a little bit more here. Hands to the arches or the shins. As you breathe in happy baby pose, especially on the exhale, let your lower back hips relax a little bit more. And then maybe move side to side in your happy baby pose. Maybe one leg out to the side at a time, maybe rocking for the spine. And then let's bring the legs back up, point and flex. And do some circles. And then let's turn to one side and come back up to sitting. Okay? So in our next pose, we're going to come into deer pose. So I love this one a lot, especially for the hips. That's where we're focusing in deer pose. I'm going to give you a couple of different options though. If this pose isn't accessible to you, like for knee reasons, for whatever, if it just doesn't feel good to you, you can bring one foot in for like a half butterfly version of stretching the legs and the hips. You can bring one foot in, you can use a pillow or something to come to the front. We're targeting the inside of the leg here, the groin, the energy lines that run on the inside of this leg. So instead of coming over to the side, which if that feels great for you today, sweet, do that. But maybe coming to the front and going into that where you're not flexing, you're letting the foot just be, you're letting the muscles relax, maybe propping the head, maybe not using anything at all, and maybe just sitting up tall is enough for you. So if this feels really great, stay with this. Otherwise, in deer pose, I like to have a blanket in like a square of a blanket so that I can have my feet resting on the blanket as well. So in this pose, you're going to take one foot in, so let's take the left foot in and the right foot back, okay? Now, you can keep this foot close to the leg, you can walk it a little bit away, depending on how you're feeling in this hip flexor and the inside of the leg here. Like for me, that's really intense to take that foot away. So I'm going to scoot it back in a little bit. And then also feel where it feels best for you to have your back foot. You can have a little bit of a flex form, but still relaxed with your feet, or just let them be here, okay? And then once you find this space, this part of the pose for yourself, find a tall but relaxed spine, okay? So also sitting on a blanket is really helpful for allowing your hips to be as level as possible. So then you can just take your hands in front, you can keep one hand in front and one hand behind. So find the place that works best for you. Sitting tall but relaxed, close the eyes. Take a breath where you exhale through the mouth. Signal to your body that you are here. We are okay. Remember, when we get into the hips, that's the space where we hang on to the emotions, the feelings, the stuff. It's the stuff, friends, right? So stuff might come up, and that's okay. That's great. We don't want to stuff the stuff down, right? We want it to be able to come up, and we want to notice it, and we want to acknowledge it, and let the body and the mind know it's valid. It's okay. But also, right now in this practice, to notice it and then let it go. Watch it go. Right? I'm breathing in. I'm breathing out. And maybe you want to attach your thought or your word to the inhale and the exhale. Maybe I breathe in peace and I exhale stress. Maybe I breathe in allowing and I breathe out the need to control. As you breathe, feel what's going on in the body. Feel your body rest a little bit deeper. Also, if it starts to get uncomfortable, remember, uncomfortable we're okay with in this practice. This is a practice of learning to breathe and be in the uncomfortable without running from it. Hurt is a different story. Hurt, we back out of. We're not here to hurt. We're here to feel good. We're here to allow, to let go, right? To let things flow. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And then from there, we're just going to add a little bit of a twist. So twisting, take your right hand to your knee and maybe twist. And if you're in that half butterfly form, maybe twist over that left leg and give a little bit of a bend or a little bit of a, just go with what the body wants to do. These are all just suggestions. Make it your own, right? And then remember we want to move gently and slowly in between poses. So we're going to take that back to the center, take your right hand behind your leg and help that leg come to the front. That's like bliss and all in the same emotion for me. Okay, so let's take the legs out in front and we're just going to stay right here in staff pose. This time we are going to flex the muscles, flex the feet, flex the legs, sit up tall, close the eyes, be present, take the pause, and just see what's going on in the body here. Now if you want to, maybe point the feet, flex and point a few times. And then from here, we're going to go right to the other side. So if you were in half butterfly pose, you could bring that left foot in and the right leg out to the side and maybe just lean to the front. Maybe sit up tall. Okay, just let the foot be. Now, if that is too much for your knee, if it feels good, stay there. If it's too much for your knee, maybe roll up a blanket. Or if you have a block, you could use a block and that feels fabulous. You could allow the knee to be resting on a blanket. Adding a little bit of bend to the knee when you're in a position like this could be really beneficial for your back. Just feel into it. You know, all suggestions, right? So then from here, we're going to go to the other side. So stay there if you're in that first pose. Otherwise, take your right foot to your left knee with your left foot behind. And you're going to notice that one side is going to be very different. Possibly. I'm not, maybe you're a very balanced person on both sides. Most of us, though, friends, are different on each side. And it's kind of fun, right? It's fun to notice these things once you start working with the body and really paying attention, really tuning into the body. So we're here, okay? We are sitting up tall with a relaxed spine. We have the hands either in front or one hand behind. Roll the shoulders back, take a breath, exhale through the mouth in your deer pose on this side. Allow the jaw to relax here. Go back to your mantra, what you attached to the breath to use as a tool to keep your mind here in this moment. Breathing in and breathing out. When you feel that stuff come up, breathe into it more. The space where you feel it, send energy, love, breath, and light into that space. This is some deep work that you are doing right now. Again, we're still in the hips. It's the stuff place. Don't stuff it there. Let it come. Let it come. Let the stuff come. Allow the breath to flow together. Allow one breath to flow right into the next breath. There's no forcing. Just being. And breathing in and breathing out. Two more breaths here. And then releasing. So from here, maybe adding a little bit of a twist to the opposite direction. So if you're in deer pose, maybe taking your left hand to the knee and just gently twisting, not like a forced twist, just a gentle twist. Maybe coming here, maybe if you're in that half butterfly pose, twisting to the other direction with the upper body. Just see what the body wants to do. And from here, coming back to the center and taking that left hand to the leg, if you're in deer pose, leaning to the side and help that leg out here. And then again, coming into your staff pose. So staying here, maybe stay with a little bit of a point to the feet. See if that feels good, but come to a tall spine and breathe. All right, now from here, let's take the feet together into butterfly. And we're not going to use this as a yin pose today, but I do want to have you come to butterfly. And if it feels good, take your hands to your toes or whatever's available to you, maybe to your shins. Stay with a tall spine as much as you can, and then you're just going to bounce the knees a little bit. This is a practice that I do every morning with my movement right away first thing in the morning, and it is really, really great for loosening the hips, because if you have any creaks in the morning, then it just helps to wake things up. I'll do a little bit more. Always breathing. All right, now take an inhale, bring the knees up, hold. Open the mouth, exhale, let the knees drop. All right, now let's come on to your seat, but turning to the side here. And we're going to come into a transition pose. So just coming onto the elbows, okay? And let the feet be about hips width apart. Relax the shoulders, and then just allow the knees to come side to side. Windshield wipe the knees, or the legs. And again, we're moving slowly and gently. Don't rush through. Just loosening up the hips and the lower back, and always breathing. to the center and coming onto your back. Now we're gonna be lying down on your back here for the next couple poses. So again, if you want something underneath your head, you certainly can, but you don't have to. I'm gonna take a drink out of my Change the World Girl cup that I love. It makes me so happy to look at. And remember, just like when you get any body work done, like a massage or acupuncture, any of these things, you want to make sure that you drink plenty of water, especially when you're finished, because it's just gonna, all that stuff that comes up, it's just gonna move right through you, okay? It's gonna move right through you. So, let's come down onto our back, and we're gonna come into nose to knee, or Apanasana. So, we're gonna take your right knee in towards the chest, and your left leg out in front. Now, you can make this strong by flexing the legs, flexing the feet, bringing the nose up towards the knee, keeping the legs in line with the hips, or just allow that left leg to rest, allow the hips to rest and the shoulders, and just be. We're going to stay here for a little bit. Allow the lower back to rest more as you breathe. Even if you're in a strong version of the pose, which is actually good core work, if you lift up into that version. Either way, just feel into the body. Remember, every day is a different practice. You may do the same poses every day, but it's going to, your approach to them should be different, because when you come to the mat, one of the biggest pieces of yoga is the tuning in and the paying attention. Right? Pay attention to what does your body need in this moment. It's not going to be the same each day. Right? Take that right leg up towards the ceiling. Take the hands to the knee or anywhere behind the leg, and just allow that leg to come in towards the upper body. If this is unavailable, bend your knee, whatever feels good. But get into the hamstring, get into the calf. Even when you move the foot a little bit, you can feel how you feel it differently, right? Maybe move the foot, maybe turn the heel in. All these little adjustments make a big difference in how you feel the pose. One more breath. All right, let's go to the other side. So take your left knee in and your right leg out in front. Allow your hips to just be, allow the shoulders to rest. Remember, you can come up into that flexed version if that feels good. Most importantly, stay with the breath. Now allow that left leg to come up towards the ceiling and take the hands behind, stretch that in. Maybe if you have a strap or, oh my gosh, a long sock or a tie or something, a towel, you can wrap it around this foot. We'll use straps in another video, but you can, hang on that way, and that's a really great practice for the legs. Take a couple more breaths. And release. Bring both knees in towards the chest. Bring everything back to the center. Now coming into your bridge pose. If you would like to use a block underneath the back for a supported bridge, you certainly can. Again, this is a transition pose. We're not going to stay here as a yin posture right now. But so either way, if you want to bring the feet hips width apart, lift up through the hips. But if you want that support underneath, and if you want to use this as a yin pose, pause this, and stay. Stay for a bit. And if you're in the supported version, let your lower back rest, let your hips rest. This is a wonderful practice all by itself. There's so many things you could do. You could bring the knees together. You could bring the feet together and the knees apart in butterfly. If this feels good for your lower back, if it feels good for releasing the hips, do it. Otherwise, stay in your regular half wheel or bridge pose. Take a couple more breaths here. Now we're going to roll the spine back down slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, and bring the knees in towards the chest one more time. And into our banana pose, banana asana. All right, so for banana pose, you are going to first, let's take the left foot to the left corner of your mat or out to the side a little bit. And then you're going to take your right foot and just cross. I wonder if you can see here, I'm going to do this bit. There we go. If you take your right foot over at the ankle, or you could take your left foot over at the ankle, or you could just let your feet be as close together as possible. Now, you can stay here and you're going to curve both ends of your body to the left so that you're feeling this mostly in that right side. So when we breathe, we're targeting the right side of the body. So find the legs, allow the hips to rest, and then maybe take the arms over the head. Then maybe take the arms over the head with the left fingers at the right wrist. Adjust the shoulders, how feels best to you. That doesn't, for me today, it doesn't feel good to do that with my right shoulder because I have trouble in that space. So I'm just going to let this left arm come across the body. I'm still moving the upper half or the top part of the body and the lower part of the body to the left. Okay? So then you can maybe look up, you can look into that left arm, you find where it works for your neck, okay? And then we are going to add those full breaths, balloon breaths, where you are filling up with breath on the inhale, all the way up into the heart center. Fill the belly, move up, and then exhale and let everything deflate back in towards the spine. Let your hips be resting into the mat. And breathing in and breathing out. Allow your feet to be. Allow your shoulders to be. Your face. Allow the stuff to come up. And then allow it to go without judgment. This is also a practice of non-judgment, which means coming into the practice where you are, not where you think you should be, or the shoulds. Let go of those, right? Just feel into where you are in this moment. Create space. Create space in that right side of the body, in the core, in the belly, in the spine, in the shoulders. And just be. going to take 2 more breaths here. And then from here, start to make your way back to a straight line in the center of the mat. Move slowly, move gently. That is a powerful pose. And I've said this before in my yin practices. Come back to the center in a straight line in a pencil pose, either with your arms next to your side or your arms over your head, reaching. And make this a yang style, a yang version of the pose. So strong, straight line, and then full belly breaths, full belly breaths. So what I was going to say is, as you breathe, is, you may find yourself with a dull ache after these poses. That just means that the pose is working. It's creating change in the body, right? We're not doing this to stay the same. We're working with the body to create changes in it. Physically, mentally, emotionally. It's all connected. A couple more breaths. Full belly breaths. So you may feel sore. I do. I feel sore after yin. The next day, but it's a great feeling of deep work. It's deep work, right? So from here, let's take your right foot out to the side or to the corner, and your left foot either just crossing at the ankle on top or taking the right foot on top, depending both how you have your feet is going to change how you're going to feel, right? In the pose, we know that. Or just have the feet next to each other. And then curve your upper body so that you have that banana shape, hence banana pose. I love that. And then creating that curve in the left side body. So again, roll the shoulders underneath. Maybe take the arms over the head with the right fingers at the left wrist and allow the upper body to come a little bit deeper into that curve. Remember, you're looking for your edge. You're finding your edge in the pose where it feels like a lot. It feels like it's a really deep stretch, but not too far that you can't stay with it. Okay, breathe into it. Find the right place for your neck. Breathe into that left side body. And breathing in and breathing out. And let the breath feel like a wave of breath traveling up the spine on the inhale, back down on the exhale. Let the breaths flow together. Allow the muscles to relax as you breathe. Stay with it, even if it starts to get difficult. with it if it's uncomfortable. If you feel like you want to get a little bit deeper into the curve, add that. Maybe inch your way a little bit deeper, but don't force it, just allow and stay. Two more breaths. And then starting to make your way back to the center in a straight line again. Move gently. Move gently. Allow the lower back to be. Allow it to rest. Walk the shoulders underneath the back. Come back to your pencil pose. Strong or relaxed this time. And then from here, we're going to come into our final pose. So for your Shavasana, let's, while I'm talking, let's bring the knees in towards the chest to just release the lower back. Right? Maybe move the feet a little bit. Maybe move side to side. Maybe do some circles for the lower back. Or just be exactly where you are. Find what feels good and stay, friends. Right? So for your final pose, I have a few suggestions. Either come back to your legs up the wall pose, or if you have a bolster at home or a firm pillow that this would work with, I'm going to show you a couple different things with that. So coming down onto your back, if you want to get more into the hips again, maybe come into a butterfly with the feet and the knees resting on the bolster. And walk the shoulders underneath the back and just maybe wiggle the hips a little bit side to side and just let them be. This is something that I do before bed every night when I'm reading for a little bit, just to let the hips just be, right? Another thing that I really love to do, this is something that if my upper body is really tight, if my arms, my shoulders need to really just be, need to relax in this area, I'll do this. Also, heart opening, good curve in the spine, all these things, but it's very therapeutic, very resting, very restful pose, is to do a bolster halfway up or a little. You could do it this way or this way or this way. This way is the sturdiest I have found. And then putting the bolster on top. And then what I like to do is scoot my seat all the way to the bolster and then just allow the upper body to be. You can come into butterfly pose again. You can let your legs just be in front. But see this beautiful curve in the spine. And you know, some people like to take the arms over the head and maybe rest your hands on the bolster, which is a really deep stretch for the arms. Maybe let them just be to the side, palms facing up, or next to your sides, resting. So play with it a little bit. Find where works for you. I'm going to come back to a hip opener here with one foot in front, like the seated pose that we do at the beginning of practice. And then we're just going to breathe. So find a little curve in your spine here. You can also, if it feels good, take one hand to your heart and one hand to the belly. You know, find where works for you and be. Go back to the breath. Feel the wave of breath, inhaling up the spine, exhaling back down. back to the feeling of gratitude as you breathe. Gratitude for taking the time for yourself today to tune in and just be. Gratitude for your health and just for this beautiful life that we get to live. Now, no matter what position you are in, let's all take a hand towards the heart center and an arm or a hand kind of wrapping around the belly. And just feel a hug. Give yourself a hug here. Sending peace and love to yourself. Extending that to your family and friends, to your town, your city, and then out into the world. Picture it, it's a ripple, starts with you, ripples out. One more breath. Release that. So whatever position you are in, let's start to make our way back to the center. If you are in butterfly pose, maybe bring your knees together and your feet apart a little bit. If you were in legs up the wall, maybe bring your knees in towards your chest. If you're in reclined butterfly, again, take the knees together. We'll take a couple moments here and then come into just a little bit of just lying on the mat to bring the body all back to the center. So when you're ready, you can start to come back to just lying on the mat for a few moments here. Walk the shoulders underneath the back. Let your feet be a little bit farther than hips width apart, and your arms to just be. Let your feet be. Feel the effects that this practice has had on your body and your mind. And one more breath here. And starting to move the fingers and the toes and the wrists and the ankles. Bring the knees in towards the chest. And coming to your right side, curling up into a ball and staying here and focusing again on something that you are grateful for, or just that feeling of gratitude. Take a full breath on that. eyes closed, come back to your seated pose that you started with. Coming full circle here. Sitting tall but relaxed. Now taking an inhale through the nose, opening the mouth, and exhale. And again, inhale and exhale. Hands together in prayer position in front of the heart. Inhale, hold at the top. Open the mouth and exhale. I'm so very grateful for you and for your light and your energy. And go share positive energy with those around you as you go through your day and your week. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.